Hello everyone, welcome to ZNG Classroom. I'm Jolene. Today we are going to talk about the average rate of change of the functions. Now let's start. First, we have to make sure how to find the average rate of change. Here is an x-axis and a y-axis. If this is the point 1 and this is the point 2, then we connect these 2 points. The average rate of change is the gradient of this line. And how do we calculate the gradient? Well, let's label this point as x1, y1, and this point x2, y2. Then its gradient equals y2 subtracts y1 over x2 subtracts x1. Now let's try exercise 1. Here we have several x intervals, and we are going to find the average rate of change that matches them from -10 to -6. First, we can know that the average rate of change here is positive. And this point has a coordinate -10 and 4. And this point is -6 and 6. So its gradient is 6 subtracts 4 over -6 subtracts -10. And it is 2 over 4 equals 1 over 2. And from -5 to 1, let's connect them. This point is -5, 2, and this point is 1 and 1. The average rate of change here is negative, and its gradient is -2 subtracts 1 over 1 subtracts -5. So it is -1 over 6. And from 1 to 5, as we can see, the y coordinate here is 1, and the y coordinate here is also 1. So we can know that the average rate of change here is 0, because there's no difference between the y coordinates of these 2 points. And from 5 to 10, it's very easy to calculate because it's just a straight line. So here is 10, 6, here is 5, 1. So it's very simple. 6 subtracts 1 over 10 subtracts 5. So it is 5 over 5 equals 1. And yes, also it's positive. So the point we need to focus here is if we calculate the average rate of change between point 1 and point 2, if there's no difference between their y coordinates, the average rate of change is 0. Now let's turn to exercise 2. The first interval in this graph is from -10 to 3. So here's -10 and here is 3. It seems very complex in this interval, but don't forget how to calculate the average rate of change. We just need to connect this point and this point. So the average rate of change is negative here, and it is because here's minus 10, 4, and here is 3 minus 2. So it will be minus 4 subtracts minus 2 over 3 subtracts minus 10. So it is minus 6 over 13. And from 3 to 5, this point is 5.8. So is positive, and the average rate of change is 8 subtracts minus 2 and 5, and that over 5 subtracts 3. So that is 10 over 2, and that is 5. And for this interval from 5 to 9, yes, here we are going to use the knowledge we taught before. That is because there are no difference between the y coordinates during these 2 points. So the average rate of change is 0 here in this interval from 5 to 9. And from 9 to 10, we get a 9.8 and a 10.5. So yes, is negative, and the amount is minus 8 subtracts 5 and 10 subtracts 9. So that is 3 over 1 equals 3. And the point that I hope you to focus on is no matter how complex the graph is, just connect the 2 points we need. The average rate of change is the gradient of this straight line. Now let's turn to exercise 3. Exercise 3. What is the average rate of change on the function f(x) equals 3x plus 4 on the interval from 5 to 10? Well, if you first look at this question, the idea came out immediately will be, well, let's draw the graph of this function and connect the 2 points we need and then calculate its gradient. Well, actually, we don't need to do that. The thing we need to do is just find the 2 y coordinates of the points like this. As we knew that the function is 3x plus 4, so here will be 3 times 5 plus 4 and equals 19. And here will be 3 times 10 plus 4 equals 34. And we can know that for x coordinates from 5 to 10, it's increasing. And for y coordinates, it's from 19 to 34. It's increasing as well. So the average rate of change is positive. And the specific amount is 34 subtracts 19 over 10 subtracts 5 equals 15 over 5 equals 3. And this is the final result. Exercise 4 is similar, we just need to use the same method. What is the average rate of change on the function f(x) equals 5 over x subtract 6 on the interval from 4 to 16? F4 and F16. So here is 5 over 4 subtract 6 equals minus 5 over 2. And here is 5 over 16 subtract 6 equals 5/10 equals 1/2. Well, in this function, as x increasing, y is increasing as well. So it's positive. And now exercise 5. Exercise 5. Given the following continuous function hx, find the following: first, intervals where the function's average rate of change is negative. 2, interval where the function's average rate of change is 0. Well, if we want to find the intervals that has a negative average rate of change, the most important point is as x increases, y decreases. And in this table, this is the direction that x increases. And we can see that 7, 5, 3, 0, -1, -3, -5, it is keep decreasing. And from -5 to 6, it's increasing. So the interval is from -12 to 4. If we want to find the interval has a 0 average rate of change, we should find two coordinates that have the same y coordinates. So as we can see in the graph that here is a 3 and here is a 3 as well. So the interval is from -8 to 7. This is the end of my class. Thank you for listening. I hope to see you in my next episode.